and welcome back to this channel. We are in April, but here in Italy it seems like November has just came back. So we have this gray atmosphere in this video. That's okay. If you're new here, I'm Silvia and I'm a children's books illustrator and freelance artist based in Italy. I work mainly in the publishing world, but I also maintain a little online shop and I offer private commissions for celebrations, events, birthdays, whatever. And of course, I enjoy very much creating this kind of videos here for YouTube. In the description below, you can find all my contacts, and here on YouTube, I like to create videos about my life as an illustrator, tutorials, work in progress, draw with me, and insights of the illustration world. This video is something I wanted to do for a while now, also because on Instagram, my most popular posts are the ones about this topic, so I thought it was time to create a video about it. The wheel of expressions. Creating characters is something I'm really into lately, and this particular exercise is something I learned from a mentorship with Pupicat. I did 2 years ago, and since then I've never stopped doing it. One of my favorite parts of an illustration is surely building my characters, because I love how expressive they can be and the freedom I have at this stage of the process. Through characters, you can express emotions, feelings, personalities, and the possibilities are endless. You can create characters that look like you, or is an old man, or a little child, or a magical one. You can really unleash your imagination. But when building a character, the first things we need to decide are the age, of course, and especially the personality. But why we need to decide this before starting the process? Because according to their personalities, characters can behave differently, can interact with the environment differently. So we need to figure out what kind of personality they have. So we can make a list of personality traits as a guideline. This is something I usually do, and it's really useful for building your character. So when we have more hints about how our character will behave or pose, we are ready for the wheel of expressions. This is a powerful exercise you can do to study expressions, as the name tells. The power of this process is that it helps you understanding the dynamics of your character, how each face element will behave in different poses and in different moods. So let's start with some circles. Of course, this is for a character who has a round head, but you can arrange it for any shape you want. Draw 7 circles this way. I'm just duplicating and placing the layers here. Each circle has its own lines for proportions. The central one has 2 orthogonal lines like this, where the horizontal one is for eyes and ears, while the vertical one is for nose and mouth. For the other circles, we need to bear in mind that the face is looking up or down, or is a bit tilted on the side, so the proportion lines will not be straight, but they'll follow the circle according to the head position. This way, your expressions and faces will be more realistic and consistent among them. Let's tackle the central face, and for this one we will go for a neutral expression, since this can be used as our main reference for all the others. So let's create another layer on top of this one, starting with the eyes that will sit here on this horizontal line, while the nose will be here on the vertical one, a bit lower with respect to the eyes. And the mouth is right under the nose. That was easy. The eyebrows are crucial for expressions, so don't forget them. Here we draw just some very normal eyebrows. The horizontal line will help us also with ears, and we place them here, starting from the connection of the line and the circle, we draw the shapes. And you can see that they exceed the lines on the top. Observe yourself and your features, or look for references to study the human face. This will be very helpful to understand where all the elements are. But of course, you can also decide that your character has nothing to do with proportions and put the ears all the way down and the nose right between the eyes. You can do whatever you want with your characters. But I think that knowing first the correct proportions will help you a lot, also when you don't want to follow them anymore. Faces looking up are more suitable for happy feelings. When someone laughs or smiles, they usually tilt a bit the head up. Of course, if your character is shy, a looking down face is good as well, but in general, when I think about someone smiling or laughing, with this angle of the head, I think about evil people. I know it's a totally personal feeling. So let's consider this one and let's make it joyful. Start adding the elements following the lines. The procedure is the same as for the central one. The eyes will be here and you can do them open or closed. Maybe for more joyful expressions we can make them closed. The nose a bit higher because the head is tilted. The mouth under the nose but a bit shifted on the left towards the cheek. Because I like it this way. The ears here will be placed a bit lower to follow the natural lines of the head, but always starting from this line. Now the eyebrows, you can do something like this, and it's okay. I mean, you can see the character is happy, but if we want to enhance further the expression, what I do is to raise the eyebrows and accentuate the joy. You can even exaggerate with them. I like to enhance expressions to push more the personality of my characters. Let's finish this with the head, following the lines. Always remember to give your character some space for the brain. Here, in fact, you can see that under the neck I'm not following the lines, and this is because our natural lines are like this. We have a little curve here and then the bump of the head and brain. So bear this in mind because it's very important. After the happy face, let's tackle the sad one, and for this one let's consider one of this looking down, for the same reason I mentioned before. Also in this case we will follow the lines and we will place the eyes here. Let's draw them closed as the character is crying here, so we add also some tears, for example. The nose will sit here close to the eyes because the head is angled toward the bottom, and also the mouth. For the mouth we can either draw it here or even lower toward the chin in order to further enhance the expression. The eyebrows are very important as usual. If we put them high here, the character feels tired instead of sad, while if we lower them down further, can you see? Now they seem very sad. The ears are here a bit higher, always following this line. Last but not least, the head. Always follow the guidelines and don't forget to replicate the same features as for the other expressions. Keep it consistent among all the expressions. Okay, now let's speed up a bit the process while I complete the wheel with more expressions. I always try to draw as many different emotions as possible. This way I can have a wider sample of expressions for my character. Checking always all the expressions you've just done. It helps you in being consistent in building your character. He or she needs to be recognizable in every situation, so check always what you've just done to fix shapes and elements. As you can see, we have focused on expressions only in terms of facial elements because I wanted to put all the attention into the base expressions and the position of all the elements. After you've studied all of them, you can add hair to see how they interact with different angles. You can see I'm adding them at the end of my studies, and it's interesting to practice with them because with a wheel you can observe how they fall on the head in different angles. Just one suggestion here, don't draw them too high with respect to the head. Observe your hair, they lay down your head according to the type. Of course, if they are curly or wavy, they will be more vaporous, fluffy, and in this case they will be higher. But yeah, try to understand how they interact according to their nature. Okay, the wheel of expression is done. Now you have a good sample of consistent expressions of your character in different angles. This is very useful when you're working on a book or simply on a series of scenes with the same character doing stuff. Here we are at the end of this video, which I hope you found useful and interesting. This is one of my favorite exercises to do to unleash my imagination, improve my skills, practice. So I really hope you've liked this video. As usual, if you have questions or doubts, don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below. I'll be very happy to answer you. Last but not least, if you've liked this video, leave a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. It's free and It will help me a lot and support me creating this kind of videos here. So thank you as always for being here and for making till here. We will see in another video. In the meantime, stay safe, have fun, and drink your water. Bye!